Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 24, Canto 24, The Spells. Actually, it should read the mantrams, Sanskrit, not the spells. I guess the spells too, because mantrams are kind of spells, pronouncing different sounds and words to invoke some magic, some in this particular instance some particular martial art magic. Vashishta thus was speaking still, the monarch of his own free will, bade with quick seal a joyful cheer, Rama and Lakshman hasten near. Mother and sire, in loving care, sped their dear son with right and pray. Vashishta blessed him ere he went, o'er his loved head the father bent. Vashishta blessed him ere he went, o'er his loved head the father bent. And then to Kaushik's son resigned, Rama with Lakshman close behind. Standing by Vishwamitra's side, the youthful hero, lotus-eyed, the wind god saw and sent a breeze, whose sweet pure touch just waved the trees. There fell from heaven a flowery rain, and with the song and dance the strain of shell and tambour sweetly blent, as forth the son of Raghu went. The hermit led, behind him came the bow the bow-armed Rama, dear to fame. The hermit led, behind him came the bow-armed Rama, dear to fame, whose locks were like the raven's wing, then Lakshman closely following. The gods and Indra, filled with joy, looked down upon the royal boy, and much they longed the death to see of their ten-headed enemy. Rama and Lakshman paced behind that hermit of the lofty mind, as the young Ashwins, heavenly pair, follow Lord Indra through the air. As the young Ashwins, heavenly pair, follow Lord Indra through the air. On arm and hand the guard they wore, quiver and bow and sword they bore. Two fire-born gods of war seemed they, he, Shiva's self, who led the way. Upon fair Saraju's southern shore, they now had walked a league and more, when thus the sage, in accents mild, to Rama said, beloved child, this lustral water, duly touch, my counsel will avail thee much. Forget not all the words I say, nor let the occasion slip away. Lo, with two spells I thee invest, the mighty and the mightiest. O'er thee fatigue shall ne'er prevail, nor age or change thy limbs assail. The powers of darkness ne'er shall smite, in tranquil sleep or wild delight. No one is there in all the land, thine equal for the vigorous hand. Thou, when thy lips pronounce the spell, shalt have no peer in heaven or hell. None in the world with thee shall vie, O sinless one, in apt reply. In fortune, knowledge, wit, and tact, wisdom to plan, and skill to act. This double science take and gain, glory that shall for aye remain. Wisdom and judgment spring from each of these fair spells whose use I teach. Hunger and thirst unknown to thee, high in the worlds thy rank shall be. For these two spells with might endued are the great Father's heavenly brood, and thee, O chief, may fitly grace, thou glory of Kakuchta's race. Virtues which none can match are thine, Lord, from thy birth of gifts divine. And now these spells of might shall cast fresh radiance o'er the gifts thou hast. Then Rama duly touched the wave, raised suppliant hands, bowed low his head, and took the spells the hermit gave, whose soul on contemplation fed. From him whose might these gifts enhanced, a brighter beam of glory glanced. So sunshine in all his autumn blaze, the day god of the thousand rays, the hermit's wants those youths supplied, as pupils use the holy guide. And then the night in sweet content on Saraju's pleasant bank they spent. Jai, Valmiki Ramayana ki jai. That's a beautiful chapter. I can tell you that this dude, Ralph Griffith, in 1800s, who translated, I guess, himself with the help of others from Sanskrit to this beautiful English, is really remarkable. It's really beautiful. And it's almost like reading Sanskrit shlokas, Sanskrit verses almost. It's like four, 2 by 4, 2 by 4. It's like two lines that rhyme, and each line is divided into two. Each line. For example, this last 2 lines. And then the night in sweet content. This is one line. With 2 parts. And then the night, first part, in sweet content, second part. Now the second line, on Saraju's pleasant, first part of the second line, bank they spent, second part of the second line. You see, 2 by 4. So they rhyme content and spent, and they have these 2 parts each line. It's almost like a Sanskrit verses. Footnotes. 36.1. These mysterious animated weapons are enumerated in cantos 29 and 30. Daksha was the son of Brahma and one of the Prajapatis, demiurgi, or secondary authors of creation. These mysterious animated weapons. 36.1b. Youths of the Kshatriya class used to leave unshorn the side locks of their hair. These were called kakapaksha, or raven's wings. Never knew. Never heard of this. Kakapaksha. Interesting. 36.2b. This is almost like as if the Jews um, kept this tradition going to leave unshorn the side locks of their hair. These were called kakapaksha. I'm interested how the Jews call these bits of hair on the sides. They have kakapaksha or raven's wings. We all know that Ramayana is basically Old Testament is basically all plagiarized from Ramayana. The pastime of Moshe and Ramses the greatest pharaoh. Pharaoh is another stupid British pronunciation of Param. Um, you know, if you see how Pharaoh is spelled, it's spelled like Pharo or something like this, Pharaoh. So we have Hara in Pharaoh, and also we have Para in Pharaoh. We have two Sanskrit words right there hiding in plain sight, Para and Hara. In other words, Para in Sanskrit means the supreme, and Pharaoh means the supreme leader in Egyptian. And of all the pharaohs in Egypt, the most famous was Ramses. So these are all parallels, so obvious to Ramayana, and it's so obviously, you know, Old Testament plagiarized from Ramayana. That's obvious. 36.2b. The Rakshas or giant Ravana, king of Lanka. Sri Lanka, yes. Ravana, Rakshasa, the man-eater, the vampire. Ravan. That's why we have Romania, because Romania is Rama, and the Count Vlad is the Rakshasa, is the Dracula is the Ravan, is that black demon wearing black. 36.3b. The meaning of Ashwins, from Ashva, a horse, Persian asp, Greek ups, Latin icus, Welsh ek, is horsemen. They were twin deities of whom frequent mention is made in the Vedas and the Indian myths. Myths. Yes, you have to minimize the histories. You have to tell them that these are all imaginations. No. The Ashwins have much in common with the Dioscuri of Greece. And their mythological genealogy seems to indicate mythical, not mythological, mythical. And their mythical genealogy seems to indicate that their origin was astronomical. They were perhaps at first the morning star and evening star. First of all, you have to understand when you look at the skies, when you look at the sky, when you see all these amazing twinkling, lights, cold planets or stars or whatnot. These are all of them are above us. All of them are places inhabited by highly elevated superhuman beings or superheroes, super haras, super gods, demigods. Okay, these are all um, these are all places inhabited. The universe is not empty. Okay, the stupid word alien, and constant talk about aliens. It's all a code word. Demons, they don't want to talk about demigods because demons want to make sure that the people don't know about demigods, or if they know about demigods, to consider them imaginary. And that's why demons prefer the narrative that the universe is empty and that we are all by ourselves here, evolving from nothingness. Okay? That's a demoniac agenda. Demons, by nature, hate demigods, and they don't want you to know that the whole universe, every single planet and star, from sun to moon to all the planets, every single place is populated by higher multidimensional living entities called demigods or superheroes, superhumans. Simple as that. And the word alien, uh, it's a code word for these, super powerful living entities. We can't even comprehend the power they have over us, and that's why they're giving us, sunshine. They're giving us air. They're giving us rain. They're giving us food, and the duty of humans is to acknowledge that, is to be grateful for all these gifts of nature given to us through demigods. Okay, actually, material nature is under control of the demigods. Of course, ultimately, everything is under the control of God, Krishna, Rama, who is in charge of all demigods. But demigods, they have power over the matter, and of all demigods, the most powerful is the matter, Magna Mater, is goddess Kali, Durga, Magna Mater. So that their origin was astronomical. Of course, because this is allegory for simple fact that every planet is inhabited by one main demigod. That's all. And they were perhaps at first the morning star and evening star, these two Ashwins demigods, the twins. They are said to be the children of the sun and the nymph Ashwini, who is one of the lunar asterisms personified. In the popular mythology, they are regarded as the physicians of the gods, Goresio. 364b, the word Kumara, a young prince, child, is also a proper name of Skanda or Kartikeya, the god of war, the son of Shiva and Uma, aka Durga, aka Kali. The babe was matured in the fire. See Appendix Kartikeya Generatio. Interesting. Interesting. So this is another beautiful chapter of Ramayana. We have so much information here also. Again, the word spells gives a kind of evilish notion to actually what is going on. What is going on is a Brahmana giving mantrams, giving knowledge to Rama and Lakshmana on how to use divine weapons, how to invoke and revoke divine celestial weapons. And is done by touching the water, by purifying yourself, and then reciting the mantra. And in this way, Rama was able to invoke so many amazing, mystical, celestial, divine weapons. But also, you have to understand, we have to understand that back then in Treta Yuga, people were much more virtuous and pure. Okay, there was no, literally, there was almost no vices, and everyone was living a really nice, honest life, and it was a regular thing, common thing to remember everything somebody says. There was no need for the books or computers because people's capacity to use the brain was much more enhanced and they could remember everything just by hearing it once. Okay, that's why we have this oral tradition passed down like that, because there was no need for the books. The need for the books came with the advent of the age of Kali, where people are full of vice, low class, they can't keep their word. Um, always miserable, angry, and foul-mouthed, and the most obnoxious, the most obnoxious living entities in the universe are Kali Yugans. Kali Yugans, privileged, always victimized, always lying, cheating, deceiving, all of them. From a politician to the people in general, all eat cows. All of them eat animals, torture animals, and eat animals. And that's why they had to be punished by material energy, by karma, the goddess of karma, Kali, by killing each other like crazies, like that. So the reason we cannot use this technology that was available, that is still available. Actually, this technology is still available. These mantrams, these spells are still available. But the reason we cannot use those anymore, because we have lost all our virtues, all our power to and purity to be able to invoke such amazing technology. That's the difference between people who lived back then during Rama's time and the Kali Yugans. Okay, so much to talk about. So much amazing inspirations we get from these texts of Ramayana. So, continue later on. Ciao.